Okay, hey guys, welcome to a new edition of Fun with Cards. And I just picked up Clay Champion not too long ago, and I am having a blast with him. Apparently, he was bugged for a while where he wasn't um, buffing on a white match, I want to say. I don't know. He's worked fine every time I've used him. So if you have this card and haven't pulled him out in a while, try him now. He's really awesome, or it. uh, I'll just refer to him as he. I'm sorry if that offends anyone. Um, it gets plus X. X is equal to 2 times the amount of green gems. Your other creatures get Y, Y. Y is the number of white gems on the board. Activate each of the effects only if you match gems of a respective color each turn. So it basically works like Blade Coil Serpent. I guess this is the white-green version of that card. So this card is really good in basically weenie decks. It's kind of a weenie itself, unless you hit those green gems or white gems. But in the decks that we're going to be using, it's pretty easy to get matches on either of those. And if you don't have a match, just keep it in your hand. It's worth saving it for another turn so that when it gets that big buff when it hits the battlefield. So it's an ETB effect, so you don't necessarily have to cast it. You can summon it in any way you want, and the buffs will still work. Just make sure to hit those green and white matches. So this deck is for Ajani Sleeper Agent, and it's taken me a while to find a deck I really like for him because I usually find him really slow, hard to get him going. But I think with this deck, I got a pretty good way of getting things done and over quickly. So it's got 4 creatures here, and I'll explain why as we do our match here. But basically, you want to get Somber Walled Sage out on the battlefield and giving you a lot of green matches in the beginning. So you could either pull Somber Walled Sage, and she only takes 5 mana to get on the battlefield, so that's pretty cool. But also Threats Undetected. If you pull her with that, it'll basically put her on the battlefield. Um, we got Nissa's Pilgrimage and Glorious Sunrise for extra green matches. Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. So you'll basically replace the Sage with Selvala once everything else is set up. So there's a specific way of going about this deck. And yeah, let me just show you how it works. Okay, so what do we got? Threats Undetected, Glorious Sunrise. All right, so good. Threats Undetected is such a good card, especially for creature-based strategies. So, right now I will. So you have to choose at least one to put at the bottom of your library. So for now, I'll choose Intrepid Adversary, but I could always grab another one with the next Threats Undetected. So Clay Champion, you usually want to be the last creature you put on the battlefield because of the buffs. You want to maximize it, but it's not a big deal if you can't, or if it's the only creature. You just got to make sure you hit a green match before you put them on the battlefield. Okay, so Selvala is good. So she gets Leyline because of Selvala's ability, so that buffs her. I could hit this. I don't need to right now. So let's see if there's a white match to hit. I do not see one, but that's okay. We'll buff the Clay Champion with a green match. Threats Undetected. So now I don't need the Sage, so I'll just grab Intrepid Adversary. And then Glorious Sunrise is giving all of our creatures trample, which is cool. Okay, this time I will hit that. See if there's a white match for us. Okay, we'll hit Clay Champion, Intrepid Adversary. Replace Sage with Adversary. Buff it. So if I want to, I could just do the gem conversion, or if I just want to use that amount of power for damage too, but just for fun, fill up our hand. Nice, we gave Clay Champion Leyline, so now that's going to go off. And so, of course, with all this gem conversion and loyalty gain, you could probably hit his third ability pretty quickly, but the thing is, we don't really even need it. I mean, our creatures are so big already. It's really going to go off here, so I just did that for fun. But this is typically how our matches go, so I never really need to rely on his third ability, so I could use some of the other ones. Give all of our creatures lifelink if I want with the second ability. Keep pulling other creatures with the first ability. So yeah, I think this deck works well. It's very creature focused, but the creatures stack up really quickly, or not stack up, but creatures buff up really quickly, and matches are over pretty quickly. So let's go. Okay, we got some white matches there. Trumpet Adversary. Get a buff. Intrepid Adversary gets buffed with Leyline, which is awesome. Uses first ability to grab a few more creatures. So yeah, cool. Get Clay Champion that we can hopefully get on the board either this turn or the next. Well, I could also drain, but okay, that's fine. I want to buff her so that I can convert tons of green mana. So yeah, that gets our Clay Champion on the board. Grab a few more creatures with this second ability. Only problem is you start to fill up the board with Phyrexian gems. Your matches aren't quite as effective. So I'm gonna save Clay Champion for when I have a white match available to me, or at least a green. Let's see if she survives. That's fine. We've got lifelink. I could give lifelink to them if I really wanted to. So, okay. Green match. Huge buffs for our Clay Champion. And I could even do this. Level up. Okay. Not much happening there for you guys. Threats undetected, and we're going to grab a couple more creatures. Clay Champion. Threats undetected. Green match. But anyway, yeah, look how big that Clay Champion got. Almost in the hundreds, and it was pretty damn easy to do. So Very cool. Sets up pretty quickly. So, yeah, let me show you another deck I'm working on with Ajani Invigorate Leadership. All right, I wanted to show you this deck that I made with Clay Champion in mind, and it's pretty much a loop deck. It's a Rumor Gatherer, Healer of the Pride, Hallow Haunting. It's kind of engine, but what I do with it is I switch out Clay Champion. I never really fight with it unless I really want to, but the idea is just to get as much white gems on the board so when Clay Champion hits the board, it buffs up my Healer and Rumor Gatherer. And hopefully by then you have a bunch of loyalty so that you can use his abilities and get them all double striking with lifelink and prevent damage. And how haunting with enough supports casted, you give everybody vigilance. So pretty much make it an indestructible wall of creatures. So I'll show you how it works. It's a little slow to get going sometimes, but it's working pretty well. Okay. Okay, so some of the other supports don't really matter that much. I'm going to wait until I have all my pieces on the board so that they don't get destroyed or exiled or whatever before I get a chance to even get my combo going. And so here we go. Got Heal the Pride, Hallowed Haunting, and Scheming Fence. And that should be enough to get things going here. There we go. Got Hallowed Haunting. All we need is Rumor Gatherer on our side to continuously draw every time we get a spirit on the board. So we got a ton of loyalty here. Now Hallowed Haunting is already at level 7, so when a support card enters play under your control, increase this card's level by 1. So you could spam Ajani's first ability to make sure that happens. We can tax this guy if we want. So now we got double strikers, and at this point, if we don't get Clay Champ going, it's whatever. Okay, so Rumor Gatherer, let's go. See if we can get enough cards drawn so we can get Clay Champion on the board. Just to make this battle go on a little longer. So we got Ignite the Beacon, which is good. So we can grab a Clay Champion with Ignite the Beacon. So let's go ahead and do that. Ignite the Beacon is pretty cool. You can grab whatever creature you want. So let's go ahead and replace Soldier with the Spirit. And then when we get Clay Champion on the board, we replace our spirits with it. So there we go. Clay Champion buffs our creatures. Keep the loop going. I just want to grab as many clay champions as possible to buff our creatures. And yeah, there you go. You can keep that loop going, usually pretty long, and sometimes you just want to stop it yourself. But the idea is to get your creatures large enough to kill your opponent in one shot if you want. And so, yeah, that's how that one goes. Hey, I just mastered Clay Champion. Look at that. All right. Now, this is one of my favorite Clay Champion decks. It's with Tamiyo, and it's not quite a loot deck, but it's really fun. It's really fast. It makes a lot of stuff happen, and it keeps cycling through your deck. You get a lot of cards drawn, a lot of cards casted, and I'll show you how it works. Basically, the idea is you get Blade Coil Serpent and Clay Champion down, but you kind of cycle through Faithbound Judge and Knight of the White Orchid to buff up your creatures, and there's all sorts of things that happen with it. It's a little bit easier just to show you how it goes. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so Knight of the White Orchid first. So the idea with Knight of the White Orchid is he's going to make white gems for you every time he hits the board. I may try this with Healer of the Pride, but the problem with Healer of the Pride is that I don't know if I put down enough creatures at a time to make that really happen that often. But we'll see. Dang, I don't like this. Gonna have to stall for time here. Okay, he gave me a white match, so that's good. And judge it out. Really, that's it? Okay, let's see if we can really get things going here. What I like about Faithbound Judge is that you can cut your losses. If he's got prevent damage on him, it's not gonna hurt him. One of those bugs that we discovered long, long ago. What I do with Endless Detour, if there's nothing else to get out of my opponent's way, is I'll cast it on myself and pull back one of my spells that I like to use so that I can just get it out of the graveyard and back into my hand and reuse it. It's a pretty neat little trick there that you can use with the Endless Detour. Okay, and here is where we can switch out one of our creatures if we want to do like Clay Champion. Well, there's advantages and disadvantages to replacing either of these creatures, but I'm just going to go ahead and take out my Knight. He's really got a thing against my Clay Champion, doesn't he? Okay, so here we go. So that's pretty cool. I keep putting Meeting of the Fives back in my hand with Endless Detour. That's the idea there. All these Endless Detours, you're going to get Blade Coil to go off, so that's pretty cool. Clay Champion gets that nice buff. So there we go. I'm going to try it with Healer of the Pride and see if that makes any better results, alright? Okay, this might be a long drawn out battle, which is actually perfect for a showcase. Okay, save our healer for when we need it. Okay, now I'm getting a bunch of healers. I don't need them yet. Okay, Clay Champion. Let's see if we can get him out. Okay, cut your losses. Great. Take that all day. Clay Champion isn't doing much right now, so might as well. A lot of blue matches. Okay, great. Okay, well, I could always just cut your losses and put a new one on the board. Actually, I can't do that yet. He still has prevent damage on him, even though he can't block, but that's okay. I'll switch him out later if I get another Clay Champion on the board. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. I could always sack my clay champ. Keep things going. Similar to how I was doing with my Ajani deck, I can just keep pulling out clay champions, buffing up my creatures, letting them do their thing. So yeah, there we go. We're ready for the kill. I could have stopped the loop, but it's just too much fun. um, don't need a judge. And there we go. So that is how I wanted the deck to go. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So you can see stuff goes flying around. You get a decent loop going. Lots of stuff happens. You clear the opponent's board while you buff your creatures. It's really a perfect setup there. So, yeah, hope you guys had fun watching that. Had a lot of fun constructing it and testing it. So, yeah, if you guys come up with some more fun Clay Champion stuff, would love to hear about it. See you next time.